Hey guys, Gina here. I am working on, what day am I working on? Let's see. I don't feel like I'm ever going to get caught up. I am working on day 20. Today's the 22nd. I'm working on day 20. That's kind of how it's going for me for load this time. So today's prompt was to add a hidden element on your page. I have actually never hidden journaling or anything like that. I have, in certain cases when the story was very long, done something similar to what Shamil showed in her video this week, where I've typed all of the journaling up on an 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper, stuck it in a different page protector in the book so that the journaling is separate from the layout. I've done that, but I've actually never hidden journaling on a page. So I thought for the hidden element, and we're going to get through this intro really fast because I'm freezing to death and I need to turn the heater on. So anyway, my scrap room is the coldest room in the entire house. It just is. I don't know why. But I think my husband does it, so I won't spend so much time in here. No. Anyway, so hidden elements on the page. So I'm going to scrapbook this photo of my nieces and nephews. And I'm working on the lighting situation. So I know that like every video I've shot this week is different lighting, but I'm working to find a solution to the lighting situation. It was perfect before I rearranged my scrap room. But anyway, so here's the picture. It was taken at Thanksgiving, and I started a new tradition this year. I don't have any children. So at the end of Thanksgiving dinner, we took all the kids downstairs for into the basement where we typically have our family Christmas, and I had my nieces and nephews decorate my Christmas tree down there. And I took them and they each bought all of the ornaments that went on it and the garland and everything like that. And wait until you guys see how they decorated with the garland. When I scrap those pictures, it's going to be hilarious. But anyway, but as you can see, here they all are, and here's my newest little one. And then unfortunately, they're all looking at their Uncle Stu. Only Mason, this little dude right here, is looking at me. And I'm the one taking the picture. Everyone else is looking at Uncle Stu. Go figure. He is their favorite anyway. So that's the picture. And as far as the hidden portion, I have these pockets from Studio Calico. They're called the Stitch Pockets, and there's both craft and vellum ones in here. So I thought I could try maybe to tuck something in there. Or I have this container of all of these little envelopes that I've had for a million years. Like there's little folders in here. Tray cute. No, anyway. There's like this little thing, which probably won't work for this layout, but I have this. Oh, here's a cute little one with the little... Anyway, but I have all of these like little envelopes and little file folders and things like that in this container. I got these containers at IKEA. I keep all of my chipboard elements by color in these, and then also these kind of miscellaneous things. I don't really have a real rhyme or reason to how I organize things, but I will do that room tour and you guys can take a look at it. But so I have these glassine envelopes from Tim Holtz in the 2 different sizes, and I have this little vellum envelope with a clock on it. So we're going to use one of those to do some hidden journaling on the page. I have both sets, or I'm not sure how many sets there were, of this decorative tape from my Mind's Eye. And when you see what collection and stuff I'm using, I really like this multiple colored stripe one. And I also like these arrows, which also have similar colors. These are a bit more muted colors. These are very bright. And then these are muted. But the colors match pretty well with the... I'm going to use this, the Echo Park. I think it's called The Sweetest Thing. When I unbury it, we'll find out. And the way I keep track of what washi tape I have... I don't think this drawer comes out. It doesn't. But when I do the room tour, I'll show you. But I number the washi tape on the inside. Like I'll give it a number, and then I have a key, and then that way when I do my supply list, I know which washi tape this is. And that's how I keep track of that. But I haven't labeled these yet, which is why they're still in their containers. I have these letter stickers, which I love, and I don't know if you can see, but they're white with a very light blue polka dot on them, and I love the font. Like, these were probably my favorite. Something just fell. I don't know what that was. We'll look at that later. This was probably my favorite font, and I think they're thickers, but I took them out of the package. But I think they're thickers. But I took them out of their original package a while ago because they're very old. But I love this font. And I really love this puffy, I just love this. So, that's what I'm going to use, and I already checked, and I have enough letters to spell cousins, so I'm happy. Here is, yeah, the Sweet Day collection from Echo Park is what I'm going to use. Here, I love these colors. So, I mean, you guys have seen this collection, but this is the collection I'm going to use, Sweet Day from Echo Park. I have these basic gray bloomers that match the color scheme. I have these Amy Tangerine Remarks, and I like Everything Here is Wonderful. All You Need Is Love is another good one, but it's black, which is a different, probably not going to work here. Then I have this one, A Slice of the Good Life, or Smiles All Around, I like. I have these canvas tags from Basic Gray, and I like this one with the hearts and then the canvas tags around it. I have a bunch of this stuff from Ellie's Studio. This is all from the You and Me collection. So it's the tidbits, the circle tags, and the You and Me note tags. And I like this one that says love, so I thought maybe I'll use that. I have these Webster Pages fabric tickets. And I like the one that said together, or a happy place, something like that. So I have these, I'm not sure about these, but I pulled them out anyway. And then I have these Lost and Found, My Mind's Eye, and these are from Market Street, Happy Birthday layered stickers, and they're from 2010. And I have this thing that says happy here, this banner that says happy, with this other little thing with a little bird on it. I'll probably use that for a card. But the happy I thought I might use on this and try to use that up. So, that's where we're starting, and the intro is still 7 minutes. Guys, I talk too much. Anyway, so we're going to get started, and I thank you guys for watching. Hey guys, so I'm just going through this Sweet Day collection from Echo Park to decide what papers I want to use with this photo. And I don't really want to emphasize the fact too much that we were putting up a Christmas tree. I want to more focus on the fact that the cousins were together and they were enjoying each other's company for the most part. There were some fights, but I guess that's expected when you have 5 very strong-willed children. And I'm sure that as Audrey gets older, it'll be 6 very strong-willed children. It's kind of a family trait, so I think that's where I more wanted to take this layout. And when I saw those banner flags on that sticker sheet, I thought there are 6 of them, and there's 7 really, but the brown one is quite dark. So I thought that I would go ahead and use each of them and stamp the kids' names on them, and that's what I'm working on now. And I'm going to use some Stays On ink in Saddle Brown, and anytime I'm stamping on like a sticker label, I use Stays On because I find that it doesn't smear as much as if I use any other kind of ink. So I recommend Stays On if you're stamping on a sticker that has like a shine on it, which these do. The Martha Stewart stickers, not so much, because they're paper based. I mean, the top of them are paper, so it stamps rather well on them. But these are they've definitely got some sheen to them, or some shine, or however you want to put that. And so you definitely use some Stays On or something that's going not to smear as much. So I'm just trying to lay these. I'm using a Lawn Fawn stamp set, an alpha stamp from Lawn Fawn. And what I love about Lawn Fawn's alpha stamps is that their stamps on the sides, they're shaped in such a way that they stick together. They're all square, and the stamps are manufactured in a way that laid up side to side, they all stick together, which is great. I love that. So I'm just going to go through and stamp all of the kids' names on these banners. Okay guys, so I finished that up, and I'm cleaning off my stamps, putting my stamps away. I don't want any of them little ones to get lost. So I'm using a Stays-On cleaner, and I've heard that you shouldn't use them on acrylic or photopolymer stamps, but I've never had any problem with it, so I don't really, I don't know. I don't pay attention. My friend said to me yesterday, but is that, acid free? And I was like, I don't know. I don't care. I'm going to cut off some of this photo because, like I said, I don't want to focus on that tree. So I wanted to get rid of as much of that tree as possible. I mean, you can't get away from the fact that there's a Christmas tree behind the kids. But I don't know where I've run off to now, but I cut that down so that I'm going to my trimmer blade was starting to fray the edges of my paper and photos and things, so I went and got a new blade. That's where I was going. So I'm going to use my trusty little matting tool. And I've kept this brown paper from that Bow Bunny collection, and I've used that I used on a layout I made a couple of days ago just on my desk because it's such a great brown. It's very dark. It's almost a black, but it's brown, so it works very well with this layout, with this paper collection. Because black would have been a bit too dark. So the brown works really good, and I knew that I wanted to matte that photo. When I first started scrapbooking, I didn't matte anything. And now I don't know what it is. I mean, now that I've just started matting all my photos now, so I'm sure in a few weeks or months or something I'll go back to not matting anything. So we'll see how that goes. I wanted to use one of the Studio Calico envelopes, and the thing that aggravated me about them is I wanted to use that one that says "Love You to the Moon and Back," but if you can look at the folds on the vellum, if I put that "Love You to the Moon and Back" in there, you could actually see the fold on the card, and that was annoying me. So I didn't want to use it, and it wasn't going to fit in the smaller envelope. So I eventually just give up on using the "Love You to the Moon and Back" and switch to the love, because with the lighter color for that love card, you didn't see those folds quite as well. And in the end, it doesn't even matter because you can't, that's not how I used it anyway. And you saw me there, maybe you didn't, but what I did was on the back of that Ellie Studio pack, it has a picture of all of the journaling cards and the cards that are in the collection, and I just crossed off the one that I used so that when I'm flipping through the pack when they're stored, I know that that one's not in there anymore. And I finally figure out that, I know this is all about hidden journaling, so I thought that I would journal on the back of this love card and then slide it in that pocket. But when I turned this around and laid this photo out on that vellum envelope that way, I really liked the way this looked. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to have to find some other way to do the hidden journaling because I really like this. So I'm thinking here now, okay, well, how am I going to put a tag in there or hide something? Because the theme for the low challenge was to hide your journaling or use a hidden element on the page. And I have to tell you, I looked through the gallery. Oh, here okay, I'll come back to that, but I pull out these Tim Holtz glassine bags because I thought maybe I'd use one of them, and then I'm looking at these envelopes too because I thought maybe I'll use one of them. The envelope pushed the picture up too far for me, so it didn't work. So here I'm really just going through and figuring out how I'm going to hide this tag and the journaling I'm going to put on the tag on the layout. And I finally decide that I just want the tag to lay behind the photo like that. So, and I'm like, okay, maybe this isn't gonna work. But then I decide, no, this is how I want it. And I'm gonna cut this chevron paper so that it's all pointing towards the picture and lay it down horizontally like that. And now I've decided that I'm going to just stick that tag behind the photo like that. And I thought behind the vellum envelope, but then I moved it over. There you go. I moved it over and decided no, it needed to go there. But then the question was, how am I going to make it so that you can still pull it out from behind the photo? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some foam adhesive, and I just went to get it because I didn't have any more foam tape in my adhesive bucket on my desk. And I'm going to outline the tag with the foam tape to make a pocket for it. And that's just what I'm doing here. And to go back to what I was saying about the load gallery, there were some incredible things that I saw on the load gallery about the way people hid things on their page. Like one, there was a flower, and when you undid the flower, the picture was there was a picture behind it. And there was another one where you opened an armoire on the page, and then the journaling was behind there. Some very incredible design elements that the folks that are doing load did. I mean, I'm in awe. Such a great group. And I've fallen behind on load, so I don't, but I definitely spent a little bit of time this weekend leaving some love in the gallery. We all love to hear, feedback on our layout, so I definitely made sure I did some of that. So now I'm finally figuring out. I'm like, okay, now we got a plan. So I'm gonna lay that love journal card, or that love card. And so this may not be the best use of this vellum envelope, but I just loved. Look at the card, and it says anyway. But I really liked how that looked behind all of this. So I was, either use it this way, or I probably wouldn't use it at all. So, and then I'm going to take all of the backing off of this foam tape, and then that leaves me with a pocket on the back of that photo to slide that journaling tab. And then I'll do my journaling on there, and it will be hidden. So that worked out really well. And now I'm thinking about some washi tape, and decide that pattern for that one, the striped, the rainbow striped, was way too bright and way too distracting. So I decided, because the chevrons kind of look like arrows, that I would use this arrow. And I know the arrows are pointing off of the page, but oh well. I know that's not a design element that you normally use. You want to have the arrows pointing towards your focus point, and it kind of does. I mean, they're moving your eye to the left, or let me see. I'm watching this upside down, so it's moving your eye to the right. But so I'm using my favorite alphas ever. They're huge, and they're puffy, and they're shiny, and I love them. And I think, what, Making Memories might have made them. I don't know who made them. They might be thickers. I have no idea, because I took them out of their package. But I love them. But I haven't seen them anywhere. So I used some twine. So I had the word cousins, because they're all cousins in the photo. And I'm using some twine here. And I'm going to lay their names as flags along the twine. And I was going to put them in age order. Madison is older than Gabe, and thank goodness they gave her a nickname. I don't call her Maddie. She's always Madison to me. But for this layout, I was glad that she identified herself with a nickname, because Madison would have never fit. But like I said, I was going to put them in age order. Madison is older than Gabe, but when I was looking at the colors, I didn't do it in such a way that the colors would have evened out. So then I just decided that I would go with color and not age, and it doesn't really matter. Like Audrey's the tiny, the baby, and Eli is the second youngest. So I mean, it doesn't matter. Had I thought about it, I might have done it. I might have made sure the colors matched with their ages, but you can't get all caught up with that kind of stuff sometimes. And I'm using foam adhesive on both sides of those tags, where their names are, and then I'm just going to wrap the rest of this adhesive. I thought at first that I would wrap it through the tag, and so that it would be like, the tag string or something, but that didn't work. So I'm going to put some staples in my tiny attacher if I can ever figure out how to open it, and it's going to take a while. There we go. I'm going to put some staples in my tiny attacher and use my tiny attacher to put the twine down on the page. Isn't a tiny attacher great? Like, I don't use it very often, but it is great. Just some more staples, and then I'm going to take a little bit of glue, and I tried to use it like a tape runner, and that didn't work. So I'm just going to use my Zig glue pen. I think it's a Zig glue pen. And I'm just going to add a touch of glue underneath the twine to keep it in the shape that I want it. Because I want it to have kind of this whimsical, I didn't want it to be square, or I want it to kind of float all over the page, so. All right. So now I'm thinking about embellishments, and I showed you in the beginning that I pulled all of these out, and there's this little brown like banner thing, and so I used that in the upper, it's going to be the upper right hand corner. I'm watching this upside down, so it's, I don't know how Chamel's scrapbook's upside down, to be honest with you. It's all very strange. And I'm using these basic gray Lauderdale bloomers just to add they match in color. And then I didn't like the brown because all of the other brown on the page is very dark, and that brown on that tag was driving me crazy. So I just added a little button. Page is very dark, and that brown on that tag was driving me crazy. So I just added a little button sticker, and that's it. That's the. And here's a picture of the final layout. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Take care.